It's time for this week's edition of Red News, Blue News. My look at how partisan media skews the stories they cover. This week, I'm looking at the coverage of what happened between Michael Brown and the officer who shot and killed him, Darren Wilson.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri. But there are conflicting reports about what led up to the shooting.
Investigators said he had assaulted an officer.
Last night, again, in suburban St. Louis, the scene that photographers captured looked like a police state, using the same tactical get-up and the same weaponry we've come to expect in urban warfare in Iraq and Afghanistan. Police in Ferguson, Missouri, once again had to put down and head off violence in the streets following the shooting days ago of a young unarmed black man who was supposed to head off to college this week.
Investigators said at about noon Saturday, the officer, who hasn't been identified, encountered Brown and another man on the street in an apartment complex. There was a struggle, and one of the men pushed the officer into his car.
Now there is information out that he was hit hard enough to break the bones around his eye. That information coming from the Gateway Pundit, reporting that the injury is an orbital blowout fracture to the eye socket. The report sources a leak within the county prosecutor's office.
So, did the officer have a broken orbital eye socket? If so, no public official will confirm it. Early on in the investigation, the Ferguson police chief did say Wilson had been treated for a swollen face, but that's it.
He's running this way. He turns his body towards this way, hands in the air, being compliant. He gets shot in his face and chest and goes down and dies.
Witnesses said Brown's body lay in the street for hours.
I'd like everybody here to appreciate that it took a very long time yesterday to process this scene.
There are many problems, according to this report, with the Ferguson Police Department. But one of those problems is not Darren Wilson. And many are asking on his behalf tonight, where do you go to get your reputation back?
Now, there are hosts on MSNBC that see a different enemy, law enforcement. They have pounced all over the authorities' decisions not to release more solid information.